I've thought about that period in my life from 2018 through 2020 a million times. Every day I think about it. It was a desperation for Jesus. It was not just, a prayer in the car, please be with us, in this, whatever. It was, I don't know how I'm going to make it through this without you. My dad battled cancer for a year. We thought he made it through the surgeries and the radiation and the chemo with flying colors. Like, it was kind of all over with, and he was just doing one final round of chemo, and it didn't go well. And he got an infection, and he battled that in the hospital for a month. And through the whole thing, it was just, in my selfishness, this isn't how it's supposed to go. This isn't how it's supposed to be. I wore out that chapel in Oshner Hospital in New Orleans, just desperate prayers. And then how it all ended, God felt really far. I felt like none of our prayers were answered. This was not how it was supposed to go. So yeah, there was anger, there was confusion, it was the biggest trial at that point in my life that I'd had. Shortly thereafter, we found out we were pregnant with Ford, our fourth child, which was a little bit of a surprise. It was just at a time in my life where I just lost my dad. We had 3 young kids. We were in a house where we could not fit another one. Through a whole crazy series of events, we found out that there was a mass in my brainstem. Everyone we met with were all in agreement that it was just a cyst, a arachnoid cyst. Nothing to be scared of. It was in a tough place. We can't do anything about it really because you're pregnant. I couldn't get the proper MRIs with contrast. It was just a lot up in the air. So I had gone through a season of feeling so let down by God. And the crazy just kept coming, So I just kept showing up. I kept praying, even when it just felt like motions. It just felt like there was no one on the other end of these prayers. Like, God, where are you? So there was this whole crazy series of events that led us to these 2 doctors in Pittsburgh. There's something about brain surgery. I've had several surgeries, but there's something about brain surgery. I was trying not to psych myself out, but I'm writing letters to my kids on the plane. Like, what if I've hugged them for the last time? Like, what? Just the whole thing was very daunting. So we went up there. We had the surgery. It was awful. It was scary. We made it through. The light was at the end of the tunnel. I was supposed to be going home, and it was a Friday, and I'll never forget. My phone rang, and it was Dr. Gardner, and he's like, "Hey, Allison." I was like, "Hi, why are you calling me?" And he's like, "I just hate to tell you that we biopsied the mass, and it's a chordoma." And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I'd heard the word chordoma, obviously, because I'm going to these doctors who specialize in this crazy cancer that no one has. It's 1 in a million. Like, that's not me. He's like, we're going to redo the surgery and get the margins, make sure we got it all out, and hopefully that'll be it. And I just lost it because I was preparing to go home to my family for Ford's first birthday, and now I was going to be in Pittsburgh for even longer. How on earth was God going to do this twice? Like, this is it. This is how I go, and that's how I felt. And so things got real dark then. I was in Pittsburgh, away from my family for even longer. But, as a Christian, same thing that happened with my dad and all the craziness with Ford and the remodel and all the things that happened. The only thing I could do was dig in deeper with God. Even though at that point in my life, I just could not have felt further away from him. Once I was recovered, once kids were back in school, once I could sleep and have clear thought, it did not take long for the puzzle to come together exactly of how people showed up, exactly how God showed up. All the messages and outpouring of people who were holding me up, holding my family up, when I didn't even know. I don't know them. I didn't know really what my kids were even doing for that month, but I didn't need to because God had them. My family had them. We don't get to know the ending all the time. It might not make sense for us. Sometimes you do get to see the ending. You do get to see how God, puts it all together. And I feel that way about my brain tumor and the Pittsburgh situation. I've gotten to see so much of God's faithfulness through that. And I will give glory to him forever and ever through that. But sometimes it also needs to be noted, you don't get that nice bow on the end of it. And it's just important as Christians to be obedient in prayer, to keep showing up and knowing that God's going to show up too. You may not see the pretty bow. You may not see all the good or how it works together for his purpose. You have to cling to those times that God does shine and you do get to see the why, to get you through the times that don't make sense.